I'm going to build on Jeff's social intelligence discussion and review 4 specific examples of companies using the Visible platform to take action on the insights that they've learned through social media. In the first example, Kraft used social media consumer research to actually inform a packaging change. And I think this gets back to an earlier point that Jeff made about consumer-centric innovation. So how do you learn from what you're listening to and what people are discussing, and how does that move initiatives forward? Or in this specific case with Kraft, alert a crisis. So Visible was tasked with understanding just broad consumer perceptions of salad dressings. What we learned was about a potential crisis, or it was really an early warning system about consumers getting cut on the packaging for the salad dressing. So you see the picture in the top right-hand corner as some consumers open the lid to go to pour the salad dressing. You see here that somebody has a cut on their finger. So this early warning system was extremely helpful to Kraft, and they responded quickly with an outreach program that they understood that certain people had some issues with the packaging. They actually put some things out in social media about the proper way to open the bottle. But I think more importantly, they had the people and processes in place to take advantage of what they learned out in the social community and actually used it to inform a bottle redesign. So this is a powerful example of averting a crisis and turning it into a positive with a really user-friendly packaging design. And then they relaunched the salad dressing with the new packaging and actually used the social media channel to monitor how were people reacting to the new packaging. Was this a positive buzz around the relaunch? And yes, it was. So that was a great example of informing or using what you're learning out in social media for innovation. As we move into the second example, Pace Salsa used social monitoring for both market research in conjunction with standard marketing surveys and to measure campaign effectiveness. So the real challenge here that was posed by Pace was to learn from, the voice of the customer, what do customers think fresh looks like? And it was interesting, you see here a couple of blog postings, which is consumers didn't at all equate jar salsa with fresh. And so there's a bit of a challenge here for Pace, which is how can they then use these insights that they're learning about from the customers to take some action, work with their ad agency, and they actually revamped their ad campaign, specifically the television and print ad campaigns, so that the ads in print actually showed Pace salsa in a bowl, looking very fresh, and the last vision that you saw in the TV ads was a bowl of the Pace salsa. So this was really paying attention to what customers thought about fresh and how do you use that to strategically revamp your ad campaign. So it's really about the need for the ad campaigns to be effective and make sure that you're speaking in the voice of the customer and relating to their version or vision of what fresh is. So as we move into the third example, the Home Depot used social insights to address an unmet customer need. Visible recognized pretty early on as we were collecting data on what people were talking about that consumer conversations, there were a lot of consumer conversations around how do I deal with crabgrass. So you think of this as, well, that's an interesting conversation. And if you were just listening, you would just make note of that. But I think as we've talked here about the evolution from listening to social intelligence and where you take action, it's all about seizing an opportunity. So in the first two examples, you saw that you changed an ad campaign, you averted a brand crisis. In this third example, it's about realizing that people needed help with what to do about their crabgrass. And what the Home Depot did was they actually set up seminars or in-store workshops all around lawn care, specifically around crabgrass. And they realized that certain regions of the country, crabgrass was very prevalent. It had been a very wet season, spring. And so they also changed the displays within the Home Depot stores and moved the different fertilizers and so forth that treat crabgrass, and they moved that further up in the aisle. So here's where there was an opportunity, customers had needs, they jumped on that opportunity and actually ended up selling more product. So a very powerful example about listening to that next level and having action around these insights. And it also, obviously, we've done some research after the fact and had analytics that showed or measured the performance at the point of sale. So they actually, year over year, sold more lawn product that addressed crabgrass. So as we move into the last example, it's a bit different, but a powerful example nonetheless. Federal Express learned about a community challenge that arose from the Gulf oil crisis. The need to relocate sea turtles from the environmentally devastated Gulf area to a safe location. And this is very interesting because FedEx has a passion around social responsibility. It's actually a core value of the company. And so just by listening about what people are talking about, harnessing that community need, which was, wow, people relate, everybody loves sea turtles, what can we do to solve this business problem or solve this environmental problem, I should say. And what FedEx did was actually use trucks that they already had to figure out a specialized transportation system to move those turtle eggs from the Gulf area. And I think the outcome was twofold. The turtles were saved, but there was the second thing was there was a tremendous amount of goodwill for FedEx. And if you think about how that can equate to brand advocates, that's pretty powerful. And it really took on a life of its own and spread like wildfire. And so if you look on the top right-hand picture here on the screen, you see the FedEx trucks, you see the turtle eggs being saved, and you also see a clip here of a national news program talking about what FedEx did to address this challenge out there in the community. So it was really a win-win all around. And so I think as we summarize or bring this to an end, I think and move into the next slide, I trust that this quick review of customer examples really effectively highlights the power of harnessing the collective intelligence of the community. And I think Jeff's made some very strong points about when you harness that power, it really enables companies and brands to move their businesses forward. And you can't do this in isolation. I think all four of the companies I highlighted had the right processes, they had a sense of purpose, they had cross-functional processes set up so that they could jump on these opportunities. And I think that's the change as you move from really just listening or monitoring. It's really that social intelligence is the concept of turning social media data into these actionable marketing and business strategies across an entire enterprise.